If you've tried a modern virtual reality headset, you've likely noticed that they've become slightly thinner and lighter over the years. The front-heavy brick-on-your-face design of early VR headsets such as the HTC Vive is quickly disappearing. The reason for this change is primarily the use of Pancake lenses. By folding the optical path from the displays, Pancake lenses allow the display panel to sit much closer to the lens, shrinking the headset's profile dramatically from the previously dominant Fresnel or aspheric lens designs. But when you look at the detailed specifications of the micro displays used inside these headsets, you might find a bit of a contradiction. The displays are rated for thousands of nits, a unit used to measure the brightness of a display. Yet when you put the headset on, the image looks completely normal and in some cases even less bright than a display with fewer nits when paired with a Fresnel based headset. So what happens to all those nits? As it turns out, Pancake lenses have a huge efficiency toll behind the scenes. Let's take a look.
Immersed robot.
To understand where the light is going, you have to look at how these lenses actually work. Traditional VR headsets used mostly Fresnel lenses. These are thick, heavy pieces of plastic with ridges carved into them. When the display emits light, that light travels in a straight line through that lens and then directly into your eye. It's highly efficient, around 85 to 92% of the light leaving the screen reaches your pupil. But because the lens has to bend the light aggressively, it requires a lot of physical distance from the display to focus correctly. That's why older headsets had to be so deep in order to accommodate this gap between the display and the lens. Pancake lenses solve the depth problem by performing an optical trick called path or catadioptric folding. Instead of letting the light travel in a straight line, a Pancake lens forces the light to bounce back and forth inside the lens element before it escapes and reaches your eye. By making the light travel in a zigzag pattern, the light covers the exact same focusing distance but inside a fraction of the physical space. But bouncing light backwards and forwards inside a closed piece of glass isn't free, and this is where the Pancake efficiency tax comes into play. To force a light beam to bounce backward and then forward again, engineers have to manipulate the polarization of the light. Natural light vibrates in every direction imaginable, but when it passes through a polarizing filter, it gets cleaned up so that it only vibrates in one specific direction, vertically for example. Inside a Pancake lens stack, the light hits a series of semi-reflective mirrors and wave plates that manipulate this polarization angle at every bounce. But here's the problem. To make a mirror that allows light to pass through it one way but reflect off it another based on its polarization, it has to be a half mirror or what's called a beam splitter. The very first time the display's light hits this boundary, exactly 50% of the light is instantly lost, reflected away or absorbed. As the remaining light bounces to hit the curved lens section and flip its polarization again, it encounters another polarizing filter before it can escape back towards your eye. By the time the light has completed this zigzag journey, roughly 80 to 90% of the original light has been lost completely. So if headset manufacturers want the user to experience a comfortable, reasonably bright image of 150 nits inside the headset, the display panel itself has to blast out over 1500 nits of light just to reach that threshold. Running a display that bright requires a massive amount of power and can generate a lot of heat right next to the user's face. Modern headsets are generally moving away from traditional OLED and LCD screens, although the Quest 3 does use an LCD panel of approximately 1000 nits, and more towards expensive micro-OLED technologies, displays which use highly efficient diodes engineered to tolerate extreme brightness levels without burning out. Further to this, headset software has to manage this power. The displays aren't actually illuminated continuously. They flash on and off hundreds of times a second. This technology is called low persistence, and it keeps the display from overheating while also reducing persistence blur from rapidly moving objects on screen. So, like anything in VR at this stage, manufacturers make a trade-off, losing up to 90% of display brightness in order to prioritise smaller form factors and improved comfort. There are no perfect optical solutions at consumer prices just yet, and everything has to be a trade-off of features. But that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and I'll see you next time.